Hi everybody, welcome to Art Outside the Box with Miss Judy. Glad to have you here today. We're going to do something fall-ish. I'm sure you're driving around and you're seeing pumpkins all over the place, so I thought we would just make this kind of fun little 3D movable pumpkin sculpture. We have some of these in our kids' room right now for decorations. I have them hanging on the walls, so you might want to stop by and see that. But it was kind of a simple thing to do, and you don't need many materials. So I'll just let you know that you'll need some paper, which you'll cut into strips. I use 2 different colors of orange. You can use pattern paper. You can use any color that you want to. 1 color, 3 colors, 4 colors. Just use your imagination and make this your own piece. You're going to need scissors, of course. You will need a stapler. You may need a little bit of tape. If you have one of these hole punchers, that'll come in handy. If you don't, you can make do with a sharp point of a pen. And then you'll need a glue stick and a Sharpie marker. Some kind of twine or yarn. If it's a little thicker, that'll make it easier for you. If you're using yarn, try and find something that's a little thicker around. And then you'll need some green paper, because I did make some leaves too to kind of offset that. They make a nice complement to the orange. So I'm going to get my things together, stick around, and we will put this jack-o'-lantern together. Okay, here we go. I did some of this work beforehand just to save time, but I did cut my strips on a paper cutter so they're nice and even. If you don't have a paper cutter, you'll need to measure your paper. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so I've got 11 inches long, and then I cut my strips 1.5 inches wide. It's important to get them all as even as you can. More importantly, though, is to get your holes in the same place on both ends. So the way I did that is with my hole punch, I picked out 2 strips, and I've got that upside down. I cut into 2 strips, and then I took one and I used it for a guide on my next strip, so I would get that hole in the exact same spot, or as close as possible. And I went through all my strips and did that. I've actually got 10 strips here. You can use anywhere from 10 to 12 to 14 depending on how full you want your pumpkin to be. And if you want to, you could even go down to 1 inch on these strips. It's kind of up to you, but I wouldn't go any wider than 1.5 inches. So once you've got them all cut, and oh, I missed a hole here. So I'm going to line this up just so these are in the same spot on this end. Okay, now I'm ready to go. I use this, well, it's kind of like a gift wrapping ribbon that we had here at the library, because it reminded me of a pumpkin vine. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into a piece. This is probably about, oh, I don't know, 18 inches maybe. 14 to 18 inches, and I'll just cut that off. And then your next step will be to tie a knot. Give yourself a little leeway here. And I'm going to do a double knot just so I make sure it doesn't come through the holes in my paper. Alright, pretty simple so far. And next we will start threading these strips of paper onto this. So you probably pick up about 3 or 4 at a time, and from the underneath, just go ahead and pull that through. The other thing I didn't mention is that I have these, since I've got 2 colors here, I alternated, so they're every other color, and that gives it just a little more interest. Alright, just pull them tight. I wanted to mention too that we'll be changing the program until 7 o'clock on Thursday evenings. I know a lot of you are back to school right now, so maybe if it's in the evening after you have your dinner, it'll be easier for you to watch than in the morning. But you can also always catch up by going to our Facebook page, because all of our videos live on there, or you can watch them on our YouTube channel as well, so keep that in mind. Alright, so I've got this threaded through. Now I'm going to bring this directly over, and I'm going to thread it through the holes on the other side. So you have to bend these up a little bit. And this takes a little bit of dexterity. Okay, so you can see how that's going to start to take shape here. You can make your pumpkin a lot of different shapes. So if I were to do this, I'd have a short, squat little guy. The longer I leave my string, the rounder it's going to be. So I'm probably going to go about right here, and then I'm going to tie another knot. Whoops. Actually, I'm going to tie a double knot on this side too. Yeah, this is not the easiest to tie because it kind of likes to wrap itself around itself here. Here we go, this should hold. Okay, so your next step is going to be to fan these out. And I think it's easier to start with the top ones, but if you can see, just kind of use your nail to get underneath there and just fan them out one at a time. Probably a little bit easier if you just use one color for your first one. But here we go. I think these are cute. You could also do it, fan it out just halfway, and you could hang it on your wall like we did. Alright, this is about as far as I'm going to go with this one. Make sure I've got all my colors alternated here. You're probably going to need a little piece of tape to hold this in place while you work with it. So I am just going to take a little piece of clear tape and put that on the top. And this won't show after we're done. And then I'll take another piece and I'm going to put it right down here at the bottom. Okay. So to get it to stand up on your paper, I used a stapler. So I've just got an 8 by 8 inch square of paper. I'm going to have to stick my fingers sort of through here and staple this down. You could also glue this down if you wanted to, if you don't have a stapler handy. But there, so that sits up pretty nice for me. The other thing I'm going to do is pumpkins have a little stem, so I've just got a piece of cardboard here, and I'm going to take this and kind of wrap it around, and then I'm going to tape it onto here. So I'll get this kind of semicircular, take a piece of tape, put it on my twine, and just stick that on there. Go a little bit lower with that, just to hide that. You know, when you're working with things, sometimes you just have to kind of mess around and manipulate them a little bit. Everything doesn't always come together like you planned, but normally with a little patience and imagination, you can fix it. So that's going to work out. Next, I've got some leaves that I cut out. I found a little template online, and I just kind of looked at that, pumpkin leaves, and just freehanded these. And I'm going to take my Sharpie and just kind of draw some veins in these to make them look a little more real. I like the bright green with the orange. They're complementary colors, so it makes things really pop. And we'll do another one. And I also like to work in odd numbers as far as leaves. I think we've talked about this before. So we'll do 3 leaves. I hear it's supposed to get kind of chilly this week. I'm not real excited about that, I'll be honest with you. I am a summer person. I think fall is beautiful, but I'll take about a week of fall and then let's go right back to summer. How does that sound, everybody? All right, so now to finish this up, let us just tie this around here. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm going to take one of my leaves and I'm going to staple it. Whoops. Right to my line. I'm going to turn this my way for a minute just so I can get a better view of what I'm doing here. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to put this one right up here. And then this one, I'm just going to let that dangle, kind of like it's a part of this leaf that I've got on the base here. And I'll trim that off. And there you go. So this is a fun project. You could set this on your desk. You could set it out in your living area or on your table for a fall decoration. You can make a couple of them. You can make them smaller if you want to. Really, the possibilities are kind of endless with this. Well, thanks for joining me today. I hope you had a good time. We'd love to see your projects. So if you make any of these things, go ahead and take a picture and post it on Facebook for us, and you know, share the fun. So I hope you all have a good weekend, a good rest of the week, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to tune in at 7 in the evening. All right? Thanks. Bye-bye.